Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Sister Wives Season 16 review. I just have a few words to say before we get into this. The bird is a liar. The truth isn't in her. I was going to sit here and say, that she misinterprets things, but that would make me a liar. It would. Because I don't think that this bird misinterprets anything. I think that everything that she does is intentional. What frustrates me most about this episode is as I'm there watching it and taking notes, I can't help but notice how Sabam creates further division in the family by her comments and her interactions, and she does so in a way that's not often caught by the people that she's doing it to. The other women don't see it. Why in the world would she present Janelle and Christine's decision to go to Utah for Thanksgiving in the manner that she did? It was because it allowed for there to be further division. Let me poison my kids' minds against the wives and their kids. That way I can tell them some false statements and they'll listen to me even more. Go ahead, do me a favor and hit the like button as we begin. If there's something that I left out, because there's a lot that I am leaving out, I tried to watch it a couple times, but this is one of those episodes that they did so much talking and I was so irritated that I just felt like, okay, I'm going to be rambling because a lot of this are things that we've already heard. We begin the episode with the bird laying groundwork with Meri. Oh, did I say if I leave something out, put it down below? Put it down below. So we begin this episode with the bird laying groundwork for Meri. We get flashbacks of Meri making a joke about Robyn being pissed. So they're meeting up on Coyote Pass to talk. Robyn brings her own chairs. To her surprise, the bird is allowing Meri to use one of those chairs without said chair being sanitized. She's taking all types of risk in this moment. Robyn says the joke was Meri showing me solidarity because Meri doesn't believe she's, that I'm really dictating these rules. She's instead making fun of the other family members for thinking that. I don't think it was all of that to that situation. I think that part of Meri is blaming you, but I don't think Meri would ever come out and say it. Meri says Robyn is the last person that should get offended with her joke, that Meri should know her sense of humor, but the family even now doesn't know her. Robyn apologizes for not getting it. Whatever. Y'all have already talked about this. She talks again about the kids calling her and blaming her for the strictness of the rules. She says it's not her, it's Cody, but they always blame her. Meri then calls the bird out for waiting so long to allow her to see the kids. In my opinion, I don't think that the bird wanted her around. And I definitely don't think at certain points Cody wanted her around. I think over time, he let it go before she did. Because throughout the conversation, the bird was trying to blame it on Cody. But we did see instances, and the bird did admit that at points, Cody did say, why can't Meri come over? Meri said, look, this whole thing is BS. That I'm still not allowed to be near you or the kids, despite that we've both been following the rules. She's annoyed, and she has every right to be, because she was one of the few people that were actually following Cody's guidelines, and she lives by herself, and she doesn't go anywhere. So she's frustrated with COVID, and she's frustrated with being alone. Meri thought that she would at least get to see Robyn's kids if she followed the rules, but that never happened, and she's lonely because, as usual, the bird isn't thinking about ways to help Meri. She's just not. The bird claims that she hasn't been around Meri because she doesn't want Christine and Janelle to get married. Mad newsflash, Christine and Janelle don't care what you do at this point, especially when it comes to Meri. Bird says if something like that went on and the wives found out, there would probably be a mutiny on their hands. I don't think they cared. She wonders if the wives are supporting relationships. She says sometimes there's a devil on her shoulder that says otherwise. I don't care about that either. Sorry, y'all. I'll get better, but this episode did not do it for me. Meri says she was jealous in the earlier years, and it might be because it was really Robyn and Meri heavy. And when the two of them get on the screen and it's victim and victim playing victim, it just irritates me. But she was jealous in earlier years. Right now, she's not jealous of the wives, but she does wish she had a better relationship with Cody. They're basically talking crap about the wives because they haven't been listening to Cody's rules. In confessional, Christine admits that her and Janelle have not been listening to all of Cody's rules, but they have been following ones mandated by the CDC. They did what they needed to do in order to remain safe in their eyes and also remain sane, which meant that there were times where they and the kids needed to see each other. Janelle says, I thought that they would just do like us and pick a tribe that's doing something similar to them, meaning Christine and I are doing some of the same things so we can hang out together. And Robyn and Meri are doing some of the same things along with Cody, allegedly, so they could hang out together. Meri tells the bird that she's tired of being alone, that although her and Cody aren't on the best terms, she deserves to be treated differently, and she does. Christine tells us that she's shocked that Meri wasn't allowed at the bird's nest, and she feels bad for Meri being completely alone because Meri has no one. So a few episodes ago, it was Janelle who was checking up on Meri despite not liking her. And now you have Christine feeling bad for Meri despite not liking her. Yet the bird who supposedly likes her doesn't do some of these basic things or seem to care. The bird says she doesn't like having Cody all to herself. She's telling us and Meri this. She then starts crying, which I think is so on brand. And she's like, I'm just worried, Meri, I'm worried. I'm worried about, the kids who don't get to see him and the wives. Why are you crying about that? Because that's a lie. How in this moment, when Meri's sitting here talking about how lonely she is, are you making this about you too? Then the bird's like, Meri, Mom calls me the Brown family scapegoat. Soon as she said it, I said, once again, Robyn, you're showing your hand. Because this means that you are calling your mother and you are talking crap with your mother about the family. Yes, she may see some things on TV, but if she's honest with herself, she can see why the viewers may feel the way that they feel, as well as why the kids may feel the way that they feel, and the moms may feel the way that they feel. I'm going to be honest with y'all, because that's what we do here. I never cared for the bird's mom. I never did. It's not that I disliked her. I just didn't care for her. There's something about her that never gelled with me. I've seen other moms come on the TV screen from, this family, and I always found something in them that I liked. But with her mom, I didn't see it. I didn't get it. And I just feel like it's because the bird and her mother are the same person. We then see the bird in confessional. I called my mom and she just kind of chuckled and she said, Robyn, all they do is blame you for stuff. You're just the scapegoat. You're the Brown family scapegoat. She drains. Meri's like, if you're calling yourself the family scapegoat, which is cool, but at least you're the family something. At this point, I would love to be considered anything. I hate that Robyn is sitting there trying to be a victim to a person that has absolutely no bearings in this family, no weight. All they want from her is her money, and that's it. She's not a decision maker, and her husband could care less if he sees her. I'm just saying. Janelle and Christine both thought that Robyn would be reaching out to her. She hasn't because she doesn't care. Robyn is a horrible sister wife, in my opinion. All these years, Kody has tried to push the narrative that Robyn is an ideal sister wife, and she can't even pick up the phone to call her friend to check in on her. That doesn't sound like a good sister wife to me. Meri adds that she's struggling with the concept of having sister wives, but not really having a husband. She tells the bird that the bald eagle has told her that the two of them are better off as friends. And as she says that, Robyn says, but sometimes he says things, that make me have hope, claiming that Kody will say, oh, I need to see Meri, or, oh, I need to call Meri. That, it may not seem like it, but you being told that he's considering you a friend, that's a start, that's a start. That's a door that's open to you, Meri. He wants to be your friend. There's a possibility, Meri, he could have a change of heart. But we're supposed to believe Meri begged you to convince her to hold on, when here you are all on your own trying to convince her to hold on. Meri explains how hard it is that Kody doesn't want anything to do with her. She hopes that if she continues to do this, that maybe he'll eventually change his mind, because in her mind, only her and Robyn at this point are fighting for the family in these relationships. I don't know if I believe that. Just because people don't want to spend their time of thanks with you doesn't mean that they're not fighting for your family. If they weren't fighting for your family, people like Christine would have left a long time ago. So we're back at Christine's. Janelle is over at Christine's house so they could talk crap together about the bald eagle and how they relate to each other in that moment. We know he hates when these two are together. Janelle says, I was being treated like a child. It was offensive with what happened at Meri's house, and I walked away. Christine tells us that unlike Christine in this moment, Janelle needs support, because Janelle's been being treated horribly when she doesn't travel the way that she does. Janelle and Kody have a good relationship. Janelle enjoys spending time with Kody. Christine says that Kody and Janelle had a different dynamic, and that's why she's having such a harder time. But for her, it's not any different, because since they've moved to Flagstaff, Kody has drastically changed the amount of time he spends with her and her kids, despite telling her to get there that it was going to be better. She says at this point, he only comes over for a few hours a week, and that a few hours of work a week isn't worth being isolated. The bald eagle, she says, comes over about once every 3 days for dinner, plays with Truly, goes to bed, wakes up, and then leaves for another several days. Janelle wants to spend time with him, but she can't. And Janelle, at this point, because of the way everything is going on at Thanksgiving, says she'd much rather spend time with her own kids than having to worry about, what comes of her spending time with Kody if she doesn't do what she's supposed to do. Christine talks about how she felt when she heard, what in the world did I write? Y'all know what happens. I don't edit. Oh, not Christine. Robyn talks about how she felt when she heard the boys saying that they want to do whatever Christine wants to do. She says, when Janelle's, said for her kids they're going to do for Thanksgiving, whatever they do for Thanksgiving is dependent upon Christine. That hurt my feelings. It made me sad. I can only imagine how it bothers Kody. What about all of us? What about the rest of us? Who would want to be with somebody who's crying every 5 minutes over the stupidest things? You're sitting here in confessional doing this whole woe is me thing just because these people want to go spend Thanksgiving with other family. It's their family. Who wants to sit around hanging out with people who do nothing? Y'all are boring. Christine says, I called my older kids, let them know about the rules. Aspen was immediately crying on the phone and was like, Mom, I can't do this. I can't follow the rules. So I need you to please come here for Thanksgiving. So Christine's like, okay, since you can't come for Christmas, I'll come for Thanksgiving. Makes complete sense to me. Janelle says, Thanksgiving with Christine will be way more fun than whatever type of holiday she would have with Cody. She said, my boys haven't had a fun life, and I think that this would be fun, taking like a road trip. Dinner with Robyn's kids and Cody don't sound fun to me. Oh, she added in Meri. I said, that's not going to go well when he sees this. They talk about how hard the rules must be for Robyn's kids. Robyn then explains to us that her kids, unlike those other heathens, her kids respect their dad. And her kids chose to follow the rules because they respect him and they want to spend time with him, which implies that his other children do not respect him. And I simply do not feel like that's true. Why does a difference of opinion mean disrespect? Because the other kids and their mother's situation is very different from the bird and her kids because they don't need Cody. They don't need nannies. They have jobs and families and wives. And husbands, maybe, and they have additional responsibilities. She keeps on making comments like, the kids are at Coyote Pass throwing a party. They're completely disrespecting the family, even though they aren't. You, Robyn, enjoy keeping him away from everyone. I feel like Robyn's worked for this. I feel like Robyn has waited for the opportunity over the years to knock Janelle's kids out of the running because we know that Cody has always favored the boys. He's admitted it. When that psychologist came, he's admitted that he has a stronger connection with the boys. And Janelle had those boys and she really, really saw them as a threat. Because even Christine said it. So here you are now being able to be like, oh, those boys are disloyal. They're not loyal to you, Cody. They're not following you. They're being disobedient. They're being disrespectful. When really what it is they're just doing what they have to do to get by. Robyn insists that her kids wanted to give up their social lives because they wanted to be with their dad. That it was their choice, not hers. Cody already told us episodes ago that the bird told them what they were going to do very early on when they got into this family. They would respect their father. They would do what they were supposed to do. So I don't really feel like they had a choice in the matter. They're unemployed, just like the bird. Janelle says, when this first started, I stayed home doing, that for those couple of weeks felt worse to me than postpartum. And I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore. So Christine and her agreed that as far as them spending the holidays together, they're going to play it by ear. But either way, both of them are getting out of that state. Meri thinks that right now, what Janelle and Christine are doing is having each other's backs, and she feels like it's great. But Meri, I need you to keep the same energy when you get in front of the feathered people, because you say one thing in confessional sometimes and then you say another to their face. So Christine and Janelle, both of them, their kids love each other. They love their kids, which is why they're saying probably the two cliques. I don't think it's their fault. I think that they've tried for a very long time to include Robyn. But if you keep on excluding your kids, there's only so much they can do. All right, next part. For months, Meri has been begging to see the kids. She went to her bread and breakfast, and they then came back home, quarantined for 10 days so she can see the kids. I think that Meri lost a lot of time with her mom during this. And given that her mother shortly passed after this, as well as I think Janelle's mom passed too. I think her mom passed first and then Meri's. I think that she did a disservice to herself staying here to have Thanksgiving with them when she could have had it with her mom. But she didn't know that her mom was gonna, be gone. So I'm not blaming her in that. I'm just saying, like, she's so eager to try to be a part of this family that she's missed out on other things in trying to do so. So she went to the B&B quarantine for 10 days. She's extremely excited. Robyn explains that her kids haven't been around anyone but family for months. That being able to hug Meri is going to be a really big deal for the kids. Meri arrives. Aurora's like, why is Meri here? They're told by Robyn that they can go ahead and open the door. They're allowed to touch Meri. Solomon runs. You cannot contain his excitement. He's like, hi, Meri. Hi, Meri. And Meri is happy too. I will admit, all right, seeing Meri's reaction to the kids, seeing their reaction to her did make me tear up. Because I remember how it felt during the pandemic to not be able to hug. Because it got to the point, especially when I had to go back out instead of working remotely, going back into the office, where I was not coming home and hugging and touching on my son, and I wasn't in his presence. I'd hurry up and come up in my room. He'd be in his. I was spraying the trail that I was walking and all those other things just in case anything happened. And I remember how it felt when we got tested, got in the car, drove to go see my brother, and I was able to embrace him after he had went through some of those same things, and how much love I felt in that moment in being able to hug him, right? So in that moment when I was watching, I was like, dang, Meri was isolated and she wasn't getting this. The kids were so excited to see her and touch her, and they were happy. And Aurora can't believe that she's able to come in the house, and she's crying. Excuse me, Meri's crying. It is sweet. And it just gives you perspective on how isolated the kids were and how jacked up the situation was. In my opinion, I feel like it was messed up that Cody and Robyn deprived these kids from spending time with Meri and them being together, because there's obviously a lot of love there. They obviously miss each other. I also noticed Cody wasn't there during all this. He must have been at Coyote Pass peeling wood. Meri is happy during the whole scene. It's cute. I don't care about the breakdancing thing. All right. On to this. I just wonder if me explaining this to the kids is going to make them want to stop being around the family and stuff because they don't want to be around us. That is a statement that Robyn made in confessional, showing the types of things that she says and the way that she phrases things when it comes to certain situations that may influence her kids. A few days later, Robyn sits the kids down to talk with them about the decision that has been made for Thanksgiving. Two noticeable things, once again, is that, number one, Robyn presented this in the wrong way. Number two, Cody wasn't there. She basically tells them that the wives have decided they don't want to do Thanksgiving with them. But in my opinion, she didn't break the news right, because she started off by telling them that the others didn't want to follow Cody's rules, and that's why they weren't meeting up. And she could have said it differently. She could have said that the others were unable to follow some of the rules, that they plan on visiting family in Utah, rather than making it seem like they just didn't want to be around. Like, there was so much more to it. She tells us she's hurt and frustrated that the wives are going to Utah for Thanksgiving instead of staying in Flagstaff. Robyn tells her kids that Cody put together a list of rules for each household that they have to follow in order for them to get together for the holidays. Janelle and her kids cannot follow the rules. Aurora, sounding like she previously had this conversation with her mother, because she sounds exactly like her, says, are they not able to, or are they choosing not to? You all tell me whether you think that she said that on her own. I'm not saying that she can't. It's just something about it made me feel like it wasn't all her. Robyn says, I don't know exactly what's really going on. I do know that at Janelle's house, Gabe has a girlfriend and a social life. What does that have to do with anything? Why did she even feel the need to say that? because there's so much more to it than that. Yes, he has a girlfriend. Yes, he has a social life, but the social life is his girlfriend, number one. And number two, Garrison is working and Cody doesn't want him working out the household. Like, they're going to Utah, she says. Aurora's like, they're the ones who are constantly pushing for the family to get together. And as she's saying, I'm like, okay, it's like she's been made privy to this conversation ahead of time. I know she's an independent thinker, but part of this is too on brand and sounds exactly like what the Feathers have said. She's like, so, okay, basically they're not going to do it. And they're like, screw it. Robyn tells us that at this point, once you become a polygamist, that, you know, when you're in a plural family, you have to understand that you can't just go where you want to go, because where's Cody supposed to go? He wants to spend time with his family too. She says that people in plural families can't just be doing whatever they want and whatever makes them happy. But yes, they can. Everybody doesn't always want to be with everybody. And guess what? It happens in normal families. Not normal. I don't want to say normal. Monogamous families too. The kids are told that Meri will be there for Thanksgiving. They're happy to hear it. Dayton says, go Meri. Aurora is crying, saying it would be nice to see them because she misses her siblings. Robyn says she feels sad and rejected. I don't know why. I look back on my life, right? As a kid, I went to my grandmother's house every Thanksgiving up until probably the age of like 17. To the point where I don't even like this part of the chicken anymore, the turkey anymore. But my grandmother always made this really, really huge turkey, which if you know anything about, well, let me not say if you know anything. Turkey was only a Thanksgiving thing. And like out of all the foods on the table, that wasn't the main one that I was concerned about. I wanted the goat or the oxtails, you know, some jerk chicken. Like I wanted the rice and peas. I wanted the things that just bring us back, right? But for whatever reason, when I was little, they always gave me the turkey leg without fail. Even if I only took a couple bites of it, Tisha was gonna get the turkey leg. And my grandmother at some point realized that our Thanksgiving holidays weren't going to be where I could come all the time like I used to anymore, because I was getting older. I had a job. I then later had a kid. So sometimes I was there, sometimes I wasn't. But she didn't get offended by it. And neither did my dad. My dad wasn't offended that I couldn't make it to his mother's house. Like, he understood. Because he too had a family, and sometimes he wasn't there either because he was with my bonus mom's family. Like, there are things that happen. It's life. But the bird makes everything so personal and so much more complicated than it has to be. And I hate that about her. Sorry, this review is trash, y'all. I feel it's trash. Anyways, we go from that to Thanksgiving Day. Cody lets us know that Meri is coming over to Robyn's house to have Thanksgiving with Robyn and our kids. Our kids. Isn't that interesting? But with the other wives, it's their or hers, her boys. But this is our kids. Once again, that's his family. Meri lets us know that she normally does turkey for Thanksgiving. Christine does rolls. Janelle does dessert. But this year, Robyn decided to switch it up. And she wants to do it because it's at her house, I guess. Meri agrees to let her do the turkey, but she makes one of her own and she prepares to reveal it. Tells Robyn, hope you're not upset with me, even though you said you're going to make the turkey. I made one too. Cody's like, oh, Lord. But he lets us know that Robyn, you know, is the wife that goes with the flow. So even if she's upset about it, she's not going to, you know, be too mad. We've watched the show long enough to know that Robyn does not go with the flow. But that's his story and he's sticking to it. The bird's eyes say otherwise. Meri reveals the turkey and we see that it's a Rice Krispie treat turkey with a whole bunch of candy and stuff like that. Now, everybody else loves it. Robyn doesn't seem like that enthused, but she does look relieved that it's not a real turkey. Cody likes it. They sit down and eat. He talks about how good Thanksgiving is with just a few of them, that it's quiet. He says it's fine having Meri there. We just don't have a full marriage. He wants them to continue their amicable relationship, but it's no more than that. It's not a marriage. So all those times that Meri doesn't understand him saying that he's not married to her, he doesn't look at her as his wife. This right here is a pure example of it, but I guess she missed it. In Utah, Christine and her family are at Aspen's house for Thanksgiving. They're having a good time. Christine says she's happy to be around people who want to be around her. We then see Janelle, who's also in Utah, at her sister's house. They're having a good time. Christine tells us that at some point she did do a video chat with the family at Robyn's house, but they would like us to think that Christine, out of all the wives, complains the most and wasn't a good sister wife when she's doing something like reaching out to them, even though she knows she's in the current state she is with Kody, and here she's calling them when she doesn't have to. Meri then says, I really feel sad that Janelle and Christine didn't find it important enough to spend Thanksgiving with this part of the family. Meri, shut up. Kody, because you should have left too. But just because you decided to stay, don't condemn them for making another choice, because they already told you guys they'll do it for Christmas. You're acting like they're saying we don't want to spend any holidays with you whatsoever, when fast forward to the next year, y'all aren't going to want to spend the holidays with them. Kody says this pandemic has made him aware of who is loyal to him and who is not. It is as much respect as it is loyalty. How you love a man is by respecting him. Janelle says that in a marriage, that respect needs to go both ways. And her decision to spend time with her sister and that family has nothing to do with respect and not, wanting to be with the family. And it has everything to do with Kody's demands. She says, we will never be compliant enough for his rules. Kody just won't be satisfied. Kody says overall he enjoyed how quiet it was. Janelle didn't even call them because she was having too much fun on her own. Kody says, you want an easy life? Be a monogamous. And that's it, y'all. That's all I got. I'm not going to draw it out. As I said it, I'm sorry that this didn't flow. I got to be honest, I really wasn't feeling it because I was getting so irritated with the situation. You all tell me, however, how you felt about this episode. And if there's anything that I missed that you would like to discuss, feel free to put it down below. Until next time.